kind of gravitated toward each other and talking Packers, man. This is the highlight of my day as well. So let's get into it, Tim. Let's talk about it. Victory Monday. Bang. This right here, probably my favorite part of the day.
The ultimate troll job right here.
Yeah. And we may play it once or twice here, okay, gang? You know why. But I just say good morning, Packer fans. It's Victory Monday. They said that Evan Williams went down there after the interception. He runs down and he said he did one skull chant. And then by the time he went to hit the second clap, everybody was already doing it, right?
Did you hear how it started, though? So at his locker room interview, he was asked about it. And apparently this was all Javon Bullard's idea. He kind of planted the idea in his head earlier in the week and mentioned it. And it just kind of happened spur of the moment. He said he ran down there and saw Bullard and they decided to just do it. So shout out to the Packers defense for trolling these numbskull Vikings fans. I love it.
Yeah, and we have the locker room interview. I think it was by Dominic Yates, I believe. We'll hit that when we talk Evan Williams. I haven't listened to it yet. I wanted to listen to it for the first time with you guys.
Spoiler alert, I just messed it up. My bad.
And it may not be the same one. I'm assuming it is, but I'm excited to hear it for sure, man. Let's see here. Paging Dr. Crutch with the super chat. Thank you so much, Dr. Crutch. Evan Williams, he may be cheap whiskey to some, but he's something special to us. He's such a gem. Yeah, it's what a great comment.
Evan Williams, not good whiskey at all. Damn good football player, though. We'll take it.
Exactly. I almost feel like we need to switch this up now since we're sitting here talking Evan Williams. I almost feel like we need to just jump right into that, to be honest with you. Let's see if I can find the Evan Williams clips here. This is very, very unorganized and unprofessional, but let's just do it. All right. Let me get these rolled over, and I've got the interview as well. Because Evan Williams, guys, he's playing damn good football. The thing I like about Evan is he's never too high, he's never too low, right? He's just always right there in the middle, even keel. You can tell his teammates love him. He's just got the right attitude when it comes to playing football. Tim, I've got a couple screen grabs, one labeled offense and defense images down there. If you'll get those ready for me, let's play the soundbite from Evan Williams's interception here, and then we'll talk a little bit more. We'll also hear him at his locker. Do you see that defensive one there? I think it's a Micah Parsons one at the very bottom of the engine. Awesome. Perfect. All right, here we go. Here was the Fox audio from the NFL telecast of Evan Williams' interception here in his stellar sophomore season as a Green Bay Packer. Here we go.
McCarthy down the seam and too tall and picked off. Second interception for the Packers the last two drives. Evan Williams, second week in a row, he's got one.
That crowd, that's, of course, when they went down and did the skull chant. Man, so I didn't realize that's 2 weeks in a row he's had an interception. That just now hit me hearing that. That's what it sounded like, right? 2 weeks in a row that Evan Williams picked a pass off.
Yep, picked off Jameis in New York.
Yeah, in the end zone.
And then got this gem as well. So just so cool to see the kid playing great football, man. You know, you talk about sophomore season. He's one of those guys that if you just watch him on the field, he looks like he's been playing, 10 plus seasons in the NFL. Certainly had no problems adjusting to the pro level. And I think he fits in perfectly in this Hafley system. I really do.
Yeah. Amen to that, man. Appreciate the super chat, Crutch. Thank you so much. Let's go to the locker room interview. And it was actually Kyle Malzahn was the clip I had. So shout out to Kyle Malzahn. Great follow on Twitter at Kyle Malzhan. Covers the Packers there locally. Packers safety Evan Williams mentioned how electric Lambeau Field was today and what prompted the skull chants. This is kind of what Tim was mentioning there briefly. So here we go. Here's the story. This is Evan Williams at his locker.
Yeah, whenever you get the opportunity to, play at home, you got to understand that, there's not many places like this. You don't get a family community type feel at Lambeau like anywhere else. And so, I feel like we definitely don't take that for granted whatsoever. Every time we come out here, again, I'm saying urgency a lot, but that's the truth. You got to have that, these are must-win games coming down the stretch that, you got to take advantage of that home field, especially in this last half of the season. So, shout out Lambeau, man. Shout out Green Bay and especially for backing up my little celebration. That was love right there.
Was that impromptu or
impromptu?
Yeah.
Bull brought it up a little bit ago. I think earlier in the week. I wasn't even taking it serious really, but when I was running down, I turned around and I saw a bull, and kind of just made me think. I'm like, I think that would be a good time right now. Well, Coop was trying to get me to Lambeau leap. Okay. I'm like, okay. He's like, let's all jump. Let's all go. I'm like, nah, we can't do that. We can't do that. We're waiting for a touchdown to, get the privilege of doing that. But no, yeah, kind of a little bit impromptu, but got to shout out Bull for that one.
I love that they kind of protected that too, Tim. It needs to be a touchdown, right? Got to have a touchdown if we can do the Lambeau leap. So I love
it. That's the players making that decision, right?
Right.
I think we found out last year that Matt has an arrangement with the guys, right? That you're allowed, you can do your celly or whatever, but it's either or. You can do a Lambeau leap or you can do an end zone celebration. And I like that the guys are like, nah, if we get a pick six, we'll jump in and do the Lambeau leap. But if not, we'll just troll the Vikings fans sitting down there at the back of the end zone. That was great.
Let's go to the chat, see what everybody's saying here. We got Brandon Johns in the chat, said we have a special team, and I love our Packers players. Keep it as they love each other as family, because being family is the most important thing as being a team. Again, we always say that. I put a tweet out all the time that says we're building the team, we're not collecting talent. And I didn't create that. I didn't come up with that cool little saying. That is a Bill Walsh, Michael Lombardi, Bill Belichick quote. We're building a team, not collecting talent. I want to say Michael Lombardi actually credited Bill Belichick with the quote. But again, what it means is, and it's almost inevitable every time there'll be a knucklehead fan with 32 followers, we'll jump in there and go, well, no, we're collecting talent too. And I'm like, oh, you missed the point.
Completely missing the point.
Yeah. The
Did you
point
see that?
is,
that's the point, going over your head.
Right. The whole point of that comment is it's not just about having the best players on your team. I mean, how many times have we seen situations where teams will try to put together these, I remember the dream team that Philly tried to create that one year. They had Vince Young and they had Mike Vick and they had all these people they threw into this one big, right? And they fell flat on their face because you get all those different personalities in there. If they're not bought into a team concept, right? They're not built into, all right, what is most important for the team? Get a whole bunch of superstars in there. It's not just about talent. It's about building a team. And exactly what was just said, kind of a family type environment. When things get bad, I always think back to On a Football Life, a documentary about Vince Lombardi's Packers. It was Bill Curry, former Kentucky football head coach. At the time, he was a rookie offensive lineman, a rookie center for Vince Lombardi. And he said, I stepped into that huddle. He said, and I grew up in the South where, every stereotype known to man about how I was raised not by my parents, but around the people around me, that we were better than other people just because of the color of their skin. He said, now I'm stepping into a huddle with all these greats, Willie Davis and Willie Wood and Dave Robinson and all these great football players, right, that were, African-American. And he said, I stepped into that huddle and I'm thinking they're going to hear my Southern accent and they're going to send me home. That's what they're going to get out of here, boy. Right. And he said it was during that first training camp, one of the first practices. He said, I'm walking out of St. Norbert College and I hear a voice from the shadows. And he said, Bill, he said, I thought it was God. I just sat down in the grass. And he said, it was Willie Davis. He said, this is a guy that broke every stereotype that I was taught growing up in the South. Right. He said, I just sat down. I thought this is it. He's going to tell me to go home. And he said, I've been watching you out there practice. He said, and I think you got a chance to make it. He said, I want you to know that when I'm trying to think of how he said it. I want you to know that when you're out there and you're sweating and you're bleeding everywhere, and Nitschke is screaming and barking and slobbering and, staring at you across the line and you don't think you can play another play. He said, you look at me and I'll get you through it. That's what he said. Like, lean on me, right? Even though I play on the opposite side of the ball, like, if you need me, you come to me. That's what building a team is. And people want everything to be perfect. And it's kind of what we started the show off with. It's never perfect. It wasn't perfect in 2010. It wasn't perfect in 96 either. I mean, going into 96, you know how many people were talking about Brett Favre's drug addiction, right? And that's what's going to hold this team back. He's, because he's finally trying to get clean of his, his addiction and everything. It's never perfect, right? And sometimes when it's not perfect, Tim, you get this picture painted like the rest of the world is against you. And that's when you really kind of, huddle around each other and go, all right, it's us against the world. And that's why I always point out, like, when a season may not be going exactly how you want it to, what did you expect? That's why I always ask. I love asking people, what did you expect? Did you expect?
They expected 17-0, and they expected 56-0 every game. That's why they're disappointed, right?
Yeah. So again, it's about building a team, not collecting talent. And I think it's very well said. We'll just sit there. Michael with Super Chat. Thank you, Michael. He says, Evan and McKinney have amazing chemistry. You could see it. That's huge for us on the back end. I'll tell you what else is huge for too, Michael. And I don't want to say this any more than anybody wants to hear it, but there's going to come a day where we got to make a decision on Evan McKinney, or Xavier McKinney, right? And what I mean by that is 3 years down the road, 2 years down the road, we got to look up and go, okay, how much money is he worth? How much is he wanting? You guys know this is a business, right? Unfortunately, there's going to come a day where McKinney ain't going to be on the roster. And I just love the fact that McKinney is pouring into our boy Evan Williams constantly, right? Yeah. You can just see Evan Williams is going to be the leader of that secondary one day. And I hope McKinney gets multiple Super Bowls with the Packers, and I hope he don't retire until he's 38 and he's still playing great football at that age. But we know how few and far between those are. So when I see that and I think, man, Evan and McKinney together are great chemistry, and they really do. I also love the fact that Evan Williams is getting a front row seat on great training on how to be a pro, how to work the right way, how to read an offense and route concepts and everything in between, Tim. I think that's a great comment there, man.
Yeah. And then, like we said, combine that with the fact that, you're in a Halfley system. You've got Coach Ansley, your passing game coordinator back there. Talk about an ideal situation for a guy to come into as a young player in this league. Having a, basically premier veteran leadership on the field next to you, and then spectacular coaching and scheme. I mean, he's poised for success. And I think you're right, Clay. I think down the road that's going to be the future of that back end of the secondary for sure. It's going to be Evan Williams sliding into that role. And right now they're the two-headed monster. We saw that yesterday, right? You didn't know who was going to be in the box. Was it going to be X? Was it going to be Williams? They can kind of both flip, and one guy can play post, one guy can, pick up the slack in other areas. This is a formula for success, man, on defense. And we're seeing it now. We're seeing what we talked about all throughout training camp and preseason process. We're really starting to see things click for this defense right now.
Yeah. And you want to be playing your best football going into the playoffs. That's the ultimate goal, right? You can be undefeated up to week, 15, and then all of a sudden get a rut. Other teams that got the beat on you. Now, do you change what's worked all year? Do you keep doing what you're doing? Like you get in that little funk, and next thing you know, you go into the playoffs with no momentum. That's another thing that's very, very real as well. So thank you for that super chat, Michael. Appreciate it, man. Jen Wright says here in the chat, hello.
Getting a glitch there, Clayton. Can you hear me?
If you can hear Tim, right now. Still hear. No, I can't hear. So.
Clayton, I can hear you. Your video froze up on us.
You got me now?
I can hear you now.
Oh. Clayton is no longer with us, Dobbs. I don't know if you can see that comment. All right, I'm gonna. You can hear me, Tim. I'll be right back, buddy.
Okay.
What the hell's going on out here?
All right, guys, we're gonna try to keep this going. Glitching up if you guys can hear me. Shout out to Holmes in the chat. You think God never farted? Yeah, it does. It does happen sometimes. There's not much you can do with the technical difficulties.
You think God never farted?
All right.
There we go. There's Clayton.
All right. Yeah, we had this happen pre-show. I'm not sure what was going on, but we had some kind of glitch where everything went black. I love the comment, by the way. Somebody in the chat said with the Romeo Dobbs comment on Tucker Kraft. It broke me up. So hopefully everything good now, though, Tim. We good and clear now?
Yeah, it sounds good now.
All right,
we're good.
So I don't even remember what we were talking about. I was going to go to Matt LaFleur comment. That's when it froze up here. Jen Wright said Matt LaFleur's comment on Haddon says something. It really does, man. And again, sometimes the bottom half of your roster is what wins you championships. You know, we talk about 2010 all the time, man. I remember when Ryan Grant went down. I remember when Jermichael Finley went down and all those important players. And I was just like, oh, boy. It's how I felt a couple of weeks ago, to be honest with you. I remember I said it on the show. I was like, man, there comes a point where you go, okay, this is just too much to overcome. You're starting center, you're starting running back, your number one receiver, your number one tight end. I mean, at some point, you got to go, all right, this might not be the year. But 2010, it was very similar. So, yeah, they've got a lot of faith in Haddon for sure.